South Jersey bad boys. You were supposed to join in on that. Is it because it's not gender neutral enough for you?
I don't know. I got nervous.
We told you we'd be full of tricks up our sleeves, and we have a trick on the couch here today. And no, Brendan did not decide the transition. We're here today joined by my roommate, Rachel.
Hi, guys. Or girls, or the 3 people that listen.
Well, yeah, you're here. You're here on the podcast. We'll mention why. Brendan's not here later in the episode.
Okay.
But it's nice to have my roommate on the podcast here. I'm just wondering why and how you found the time to join me here in the basement when you have 1,000,001 other things to be doing, including planning my birthday party.
Well, honestly, I just want you to buy me that new kitchen table. So here I am.
I didn't mean to get personal on here, but the kitchen table can be in the works when you complete and check off the rest of your task list. There's about a dozen other things ahead of it, and you have like a list of things to do, and it's like, here's 1 through 12, and then you want to slide in like brand new $1,000 kitchen table right in like the top 5.
I'm really excited about it now.
Well, there's a lot of other things that need to get done, but then you just like start like a Jenga block out of place. You're just like, it's 1 through 12, and then you're like, oh, kitchen table, let's put that right in at number 3 and push down everything else.
That's how you play Jenga.
No, you start pulling them out when you finish them, but like you're just not going in order all over. You're adding blocks. You don't add blocks in Jenga.
Yes, you do. You add them to the top. You push them out.
So you're just taking blocks that are irrelevant to what everything's going on. You're just putting it right on top.
They're relevant because your big bitch ass doesn't fit under the current table that we have.
Well, you avoided the question of planning my birthday party, which is going to be taking place a week from the date of this dropping. So... and every listener is invited. We'll send you the address.
So no one?
Just make a plate for 6 more people and we'll be fine.
Okay, perfect.
I think that will work.
Okay.
You're the first female, as far as I know, female on the program. So what does it mean to you to, on probably South Jersey's #1 rated podcast by 2 guys in a basement in Camden County? How does that make you feel as far as accomplishments?
That's not really true.
How is that not true?
Well, the #1 rated podcast in Camden County is The Handsome Idiots.
Good thing I got a spit guard on my fucking microphone here. I don't understand your fascination with the Handy Idioms podcast or whatever it's called. Because that's while we're at it, I mean, we might as well just get into it. Yeah. This is going to be a really niche episode for big fans of the podcast and general comedic tryhards in this area between us and them. But there was some words exchanged with a fellow program. And they caught Brendan when he was leaving his Pilates class in Collingswood. And as everyone knows, Brendan's biggest weakness, they just shoved
he's diabetic?
They shoved a pixie stick down his throat. And he's been in the hospital ever since. He's on medical leave from the program. Luckily, we have good benefits here. But so he's out for the week, and that's why my roommate's filling in. And it was all started by these Handy
What
Idioms.
was all started?
The reason why he was attacked by 2 gentlemen by the names of John Montenegro and Matt Persons, they brutally attacked him with pixie sticks and push pops right outside of his Pilates studio in Collingswood.
It was violent.
Yeah, outside of the Pilates studio that you have yet to schedule any classes at for that $150 gift card I got you for Christmas to schedule 10 Pilates classes that I'm going to schedule it next week. I've heard that 4 times now. This is more so just going to be a public therapy session, if any.
What the people can't see is the spin bike that's also in the basement.
You bought the spin bike and you've used it about 5 times, and pretty soon I'm going to use your Pilates gift card myself.
Oh my god, I'm
going to go there and I'm going to wear your yoga pants to that class.
You wish you would have fit in my yoga pants, and you also can't bend over, so good luck.
Well, we'll see what happens when we go there, because I'm going to be using them since you haven't up until this point. And also, shameless plug, Rachel's looking for somebody to start a radio broadcast of their own here in the basement that she allegedly funds for the South Jersey Bad Boys. And why don't you tell them your podcast idea for anybody out there that might be willing to hop on the board with you?
Yeah, so I am interested in starting a WAGs, Wives and Girlfriends of Stand-Up Comedy podcast. I think it would be really fun to talk about the treacherousness of being in a relationship with someone who is a stand-up comic.
Now, are you using the term wives and girlfriends or relationship loosely? Because you might have to change it to the RAGS program for roommates and girlfriends.
Yeah. And that's because I don't know many stand-up comedians who actually can maintain a healthy marriage.
Well, not even marriage, but they can maintain relationships. But just most of the time, their relationship is with either a illicit substance or other unhealthy things. But that's why, I could have gone a much different route in life if you didn't trap me. But with those 4 despicable stepchildren and a mortgage, so this is what's brought us here today.
You done goofed.
Yes, but you're also here, not only you're looking for a partner to start a podcast venture with you, but I hear, which has kind of been brought up in our family therapy sessions with multiple psychiatrists, is that you have a new side passion and hobby working with people in the industry.
Yeah, so I'm also now working as the new producer of the Handsome Idiots podcast.
Which I still am dumbfounded, number one, as to how this even came to be and why you want to hold that position, being that you live under the same roof with one of the 2 only South Jersey Bad Boys. We have not inducted any other people into the certified South Jersey Bad Boy group.
Well, it all started when I met or accidentally avoided Matt at Starbucks in Haddonfield that one day.
Now, I heard that it was with John. Was it John or Matt? Who was it that you ran into? I was told it was John. Is it Matt? Are you mixing up your story? What's going on?
You know what? It could have been John.
Could have been.
It's hard to tell because they're just 2 generic looking white men.
Yeah, and they just blend in with everybody else in Haddonfield.
But yeah, very much so. They reek of white privilege.
Wearing they frequently wear like plaid American Eagle shirts.
Yeah. And he was definitely getting a latte, so I don't know.
Yes. Well, that's.
I think it was oat milk.
Yeah, and that's what it could have been. It could have been. It could have been the other guy, Mark, on the podcast. If that's his name. He, I believe, his significant other enjoys lattes, and his significant other is a big, burly, 45-year-old man he met on Craigslist. I haven't met him though. Yeah,
I think that's right. I haven't had a chance to meet him yet either, but I think you're right.
But they hired you as a producer with what skill set, or is it because of like what? Why did you get hired?
I got hired because I'm going to be able to help them secure the podcast equipment that they need to take their podcast to the next level. The next level being video.
Oh, yes. So because you're gonna be doing more than just audio then, and because they haven't, their current situation doesn't allow them to do anything but record from their phones.
Correct. Yes.
So you're like an angel investor of low level people in South Jersey.
I am the Mark Cuban of the podcast industry.
It's kind of like a Shark Tank,
or would you say I'm more of a Mr. Wonderful? If you were to describe me as a shark,
you're kind of like Lori, the shark Lori, if Lori fell down a flight of stairs.
What the fuck?
Maybe Barbara. Similar facial features to Barbara, close in age. You guys went to high school together. She was a senior when you were a sophomore. But
do you want to continue using the basement as a podcast studio.
Well, yeah, but if you're gonna just either you're gonna do the Handsome Idiots here in the studio that you built and bought the equipment for, or are you just gonna take everything here and bring it to their garage that they do it out of?
Oh no, I'm gonna let them use the space here. It's very nice.
Well, you're gonna have to rent that on the timesheet, and Brendan and I have secured the
Well, I don't know how to tell you this, but you're being evicted.
So we're being evicted from the podcast studio, which our numbers are better than theirs, so I don't really understand. But what are your big plans for them besides moving to video? How are you possibly going to be able to do video in a dimly lit garage with a small kegerator running?
Again, I will be having them do the podcast here in the basement.
Assuming that actually goes through, but
it will.
But then what is your big plan moving forward from there? And what is going to be your mission statement for the podcast, and why?
Podcasting is like chess, and I just can't give you all of my moves ahead of time. Watch the Queen's Gambit. Get your shit together.
No, see, I spend my time doing a successful podcast like this, and the Handsome Idiots kind of stroll around town with a baby stroller, and they record on the go while drinking lattes and holding children. And
the children that they allege to have, not together.
Yeah,
but Jack.
Yeah.
John.
It's short for Jack. It's Jack Montenegro. He is allegedly a father, but I think the whole thing could be just a large figment of his own imagination because, I mean, his wife doesn't have a podcast or producing anything. No one has ever seen her around anywhere.
She's never said anything about wanting to be on WAGs.
No, she hasn't. That or she's just disassociating from all of Camden County because she's kind of embarrassed to live in Collingswood. But I mean, that's where we got married, but we didn't have many choices.
No.
But they live in that rundown apartment complex next to where we got married at, and we constantly heard nothing but gunshots coming from there during our wedding. And we felt sorry for them because we didn't invite them to the wedding. I mean, Brendan was there because he's a certified bad boy.
At that time of our lives, we didn't even know they existed.
No, we didn't because at that
they
point,
weren't even on our radar.
No, because the Handsome Idiots, as you know, is a podcast that kind of really just started during the pandemic because...
I mean, I honestly didn't know they existed until like 2 months ago when they were here in this basement.
But then you went from...
Wait, remember when I met Matt and forgot that I met him and then re-met him here? Matt.
Where'd you meet him before he came here?
When we filmed the white trash gender reveal.
It wasn't a white trash gender reveal. I hate to break it. I mean, it kind of was, but it was a gender reveal party. No, there was never any mention of white trash, but just in case you're wondering what Rachel thinks of everybody that was involved with that project, including Brendan's sister's house was apparently white trash.
No.
Everybody involved in that project, from Dana Sheratonchik to Jamie Pappas and Romy Rosner and Matt Person, they all, I mean, Brendan, even Sam Stores, it was just a white trash hangout. And you were there just sipping your Pinot Grigio.
No,
saying,
they only
wow.
had White Claws.
Oh, well, it's such a sad situation for you.
Sad.
You got to hang out with the commoners for a little while, and you're like, oh, I should start a podcast where I just basically just say what lowlifes these people are and expose them on a high level.
Oh my God, I'm crying.
I mean, it's sad that it's had to come to this, but they started the Handsome podcast started, and you figured it out maybe 2 or 3 months ago. You heard about it, and you rose to be their #1 fan.
Well, I'm their only fan.
Some may say that they had the idea for OnlyFans prior to OnlyFans launching as a competitor to Patreon, being a subscription-based model of a website. Mark and Jack secured OnlyFan.com, and they were going to be the OnlyFan podcast because they, were striving to have one.
Yeah, and they ended up with me.
They ended up with just you.
Yeah.
And then you were their only subscriber on OnlyFan.com. You were paying $1 a month. Did you ever
Actually, you're paying $1 a month.
Yeah, it's coming from so I'm supporting our biggest enemy at this point. Did Did you ever get that refrigerator magnet that they promised you with the photoshopped photos of them on there?
You know what? I didn't.
Mm. Mm. Well, there's some legal action we'll be able to take because it was fraud, number one.
Oh, I just burned in my mouth.
And you're accusing everybody else of white trash this, and you're like, oh, I just burped in my mouth on this microphone. Do you see what the... Do you see how there's a conflict of interest of you living under the roof of someone that runs a very successful South Jersey-based podcast, but then you're also going to be producing a competing podcast of which two of the members of said podcast put a member of this one in the hospital?
I don't really see it as a conflict of interest being as that I'm not interested in you.
Well, the conflict of the interest being that you live under this. You can't even say that with a straight face. Look at you, you dumb idiot.
Sorry. I'm funny.
This is why they tell you to not get married. Because that person will then become your roommate. They'll start producing a competing podcast who talks garbage about your roommate. And you're like, you know what? I wonder if they're hiring. So what are they? Are they paying you in money? Are they paying you in expired Dunkin' Donuts coupons? What are they paying you in?
I can't disclose that information right now.
You haven't been able to disclose anything. Future plans, payment. I mean, what are you getting out of this deal?
Why would I tell you since you're a competitor?
Are you booking any guests for their podcast? Some very well-known guests that are also fans of their program. I heard that Bill Cosby's people got in touch with you because he's fans of what they do, and he says he has some ideas for them. So I don't know. If we're
in talks with the Cosby camp.
The Cosby.
Yo, dude.
Hey, you're live on the South Jersey Bad Boy podcast with my roommate Rachel.
Oh, you mean the betrayal?
Yeah, this is the
betrayer.
This is the betrayer episode, and
these hoes ain't loyal.
These hoes ain't loyal,
and this is now an exact proof of it that it's true of what they said in that song many years ago.
Yeah, it was the taste of betrayal, and when I saw that message come through, I'll be honest, I didn't want to believe it. I didn't want to believe it because I was shocked, and then I saw who it was from. And I was even more shocked.
Yeah, it just hit everybody. It's like your own like it was what's the Julius Caesar play like E2 Brutus?
E2 Brute.
Yeah, yep.
Two bitches.
Yeah. That's exactly what happened. So I was informing the people of how she's filling in on the podcast for you because you were caught off guard by the Handymen of Collingswood, that podcast that they do over there out of that garage. And they caught you off guard when you left your Pilates class earlier this weekend, and they stabbed you with a pixie stick. And I thought it was fucked up, but you're in the hospital. Our program has really good benefits, so it helps cover the cost. But I was also informed while recording that the betrayer not only said that in a direct message, but she's been hired as their new producer.
Oh my god!
Yep, that is correct.
And
are you kidding me?
Nope.
Why am I not surprised that the handsome idiots would stoop this low?
They would stoop this low, not only like talent wise, but like I mean, they
talent wise.
Shots fired. Looks like someone's sleeping in the backyard tonight.
Yeah.
Someone's sleeping on his new recliner.
Yeah. Oh, Brandon, wait till you see this new recliner
that
we got down here.
Mommy bought him.
Yeah, my mom bought me a recliner. It's sweet.
Damn, what a good gift.
Yeah. Back to the point at hand here is that she said she has such big plans for the handy idioms is that she is going to bring them into the 22nd century and she's going to get their podcast. Hear this, get ready. She's going to get them on video.
Yeah. Well, I'll believe it when I see it, literally.
Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it too. And we're going to have to
when I see it.
Well,
and I
you'll
don't know
be
where this is coming
seeing
from,
it because it's going to be in this podcast studio.
Luke Skywalker, not Luke Skywalker. I'm high. Sorry, Darth Vader.
I am unfamiliar with either of their work.
It's just you've turned to the dark side, and there's no turning back.
There really isn't. And once we figure out if that one guy Jack Montenegro, if we find out that his wife is real, if we figure out that his wife is a real thing and not just
She's
a figment,
made up.
Plot twist.
100%
I'm
made
his
up.
wife.
he's schizophrenic and he's just imagining things. He's like freebasing cocaine over there in Collingswood, and he just imagines things.
Yeah,
And
he walks around Collingswood with an American Girl doll in a stroller. And it's not even one of the good ones. It's like Kirsten. It's not even Samantha.
I want to believe
and
that
Rachel knows that because she is so close to. She's been a spy this entire time.
Well, I told you.
Got married.
You guys didn't hear me, but I am Jack's wife.
Jack Montague's wife.
Yeah.
This entire time has been undercover, Dan.
Yep.
She's been
under. Your guys' whole wedding that I went to was a sham.
It was a lie.
Apparently, so I guess Rachel's going to be Venmoing you and Sam back your $150 and
$30 that we spent.
Yeah.
I just really wanted to have a dessert parade, so
yeah, well, you got that, and apparently I wore.
You're exposed.
Yeah,
now you're exposed, and good luck with these handsome dumbasses, whatever their name
they
is.
are.
Yeah.
With Mike and Jack, but honestly, they're not that talented, and I don't think you guys are going to have a bright future. But I wish you the best of luck.
Yeah, we wish you well. The only plot twist and issue here, Brendan, is that we're going to have to sign a timesheet to rent out the studio space in the basement because she said that they're going to be filming here.
Well, okay. Now this is getting out of hand.
Yeah.
It's getting awkward. Now we got to share studio space with these handsome jerks?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. And you know what? I'm also getting sick and tired of you showing up here every week.
Dan, why don't you stand your ground for your podcast partner here and stop taking this like a bitch?
I know. We're going to wrestle after this.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Get the KY jelly.
Yep. The dogs are upstairs blowing up the pool.
Yeah, we got a kiddie pool in the living room right now, but thankfully you're over there a couple towns away building a brand new podcast space, because that's what a certified bad boy's real significant other does, is that she builds a space from scratch for him.
No, you see, she is also a double agent. You just haven't figured it out yet.
What does she have to do with the other guy, Mark, on the podcast?
Rachel,
wouldn't you like to know?
So long there.
I'm out here doing my best.
What she's doing. She is double agent.
Yeah, she totally.
Yeah. Rachel has a few improv classes in her future. Maybe we can all carpool.
Well, if your podcasting partner wasn't such a fucking slacker, I wouldn't be down here.
Well,
I'm supposed to be getting ready to watch Below Deck Sailing Yacht, and here I am.
Well, his Brendan's partner is paying the rent of Mark Person that lives in Haddon Town Center to fund their project, and
my financier has strict guidelines and strict deadlines for me to get stuff done.
Yeah. So he's on a tight budget over there and a tight timeline, and I know your budget is just all over because you're the angel investor of South Jersey podcasts. Apparently, you're just bringing them under your wing.
That's correct. Yes.
Even though we're number one on the charts, and the
on what charts?
The South Jersey just overall podcasts.
She's not even familiar with the charts, Dan. They are really in for it.
They really gave her a bunch of bogus paperwork. She hasn't disclosed the future guests on there, but I do have a hunch that they.
Is it going to be Lucy?
Yeah, they're going to get. They're going to get Lucy the dog. Meanwhile, you and I are going to be doing.
She's very busy licking her asshole, so I don't think she'll have the time.
They're going to have Lucy the dog over there, but we're going to be doing a live podcast from Lucy the elephant in Margate. So we have a lot bigger things planned.
We got a lot in store, and you guys are going to see. I mean, the reason actually I wasn't busy tonight. I needed a week off to prepare this ammunition that I'm going to be firing off for this podcast board because it has begun.
Well, did you need a week off, or did you get viciously attacked by a pixie stick? Sounds like you can't keep your story straight there, Donegan. Donegan?
Yeah.
You're familiar.
Donegan?
You know how it's pronounced.
I practically live in that basement. Don't act like you don't know.
Yeah, you know how it is, and he got attacked by that pixie stick, and it's not a coincidence that we put out a clip and tagged Aaron Carter in it about being wanting candy, and that's what really set
weird No response yet, but I'm still hopeful.
We're holding out. Aaron Carter is going to be a guest. Meanwhile, for the Handyman This Old House project over at the garage in Collingswood, their future guests, they heard a lot of good things from their biggest fan, besides Rachel, is a guy named Bill Cosby. He likes what they do, and he's got good ideas for them.
Yeah. We've been in contact with the Cosby camp. Yeah,
and Cosby just said that they have the look of like what he is known for doing, and I don't know if it's comedy. It's so.
Are you saying that Matt Peoples looks like, who was the lady? The basketball temple lady?
The basketball temple lady
that he molested? Not Matt.
That Matt? Well,
honestly, no. Let the record show that their new podcast leader has allegedly admitted that Mr. Mike Peeps is a sexual offender, and you heard it here first.
You heard it here. We're breaking news on here.
That you were saying that Matt looks like what was her name? The temple lady.
I have no idea.
The one that Bill Cosby molested.
I don't know the names of his victims. I'm sorry. I didn't follow the case as much as I've been following Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. All right.
Okay. Amber Turd.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. All right.
Well, honestly, that was pretty good, Amber Turd.
Thank you.
Fuck. She's been sitting on that one for weeks. She's just like, I need to get on a podcast and let this one out.
The turd.
All right, Dan.
Yeah.
We got some writing to do.
Yeah. We got to really hit the ground running next week. But either way, this is going to go out, and we're going to be ready for the blowback coming our way from Collingswood.
We're ready.
It's just when they take a stroll around the block with that American Girl doll in the stroller and record from their phones, it's gonna hit them like a ton of bricks.
Just like Amber Heard hit Johnny Depp's bed with a ton of bricks.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. What are the lasting words that you want to leave with the South Jersey Bad Boys now that you are pulling out of your investment and reshifting your strategy?
I'm not pulling out. You are wrong. I'm not pulling out of my investment. My investment was in the podcast equipment and space, and I still pay half the mortgage. So I think really not.
I think we could pull up Venmo money and show that you haven't paid half of the mortgage since October.
Oh, whoopsie cakes.
Yeah. But you're basically saying that you are just a larger fan of what the handy.
I mean, I can't really say much because if we're being honest, I've never seen a single Handsome Idiots podcast episode, or actually listened.
No one's ever seen an episode of their.
Yeah, I've never seen an episode because right now they don't have that functionality. But I've also never heard an episode.
So their number one fan hasn't heard any of their work.
Correct.
Well, maybe you should scroll through the library and see if anything that they talk about catches your fancy or tickles your fancy, catches your eye. It could be anything from, talking about Sixers games and large-chested women.
I love a Sixers game. I also love big titties.
So, well, that's surprising and a news to me. But
is it?
Yeah. Clearly, that's not one of my my go-tos. But well, now that you're going to be parting ways from the South Jersey Bad Boys, we're going to have to go out and book some of our own guests and sign the timesheet. You got really big things happening over there, clearly.
Yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be good times.
We're going to continue going down the Cowtown Rodeo and Wildwood throughout the summer, and you guys can use the studio space while we go elsewhere and do Boys on the Street on the Boardwalk. Oh, Boys on the Boardwalk. See, I'm already creating ideas for us while Brendan's laid up with a tube in his mouth, and you just basically shake hands with the devil over in Collingswood in that garage, because you thought it was like Steve Jobs started in a garage and Bill Gates started.
Do not listen to me.
Steve Jobs starts. Yeah,
are going to be here.
Yeah, they're going to be here. But you signed the deal.
God,
I said you signed. No, you shook hands with the devil in the garage that they currently record in. They have not stepped foot in this studio in some time, and this was before all this cow beef started. what are your final words for the audience here that is going to continue supporting the real podcasters of South Jersey before you know, take your business elsewhere? You got one hell of a fan base there, Mark and Jack. It's really just shining right on through.
Yeah, well, you know, I again can't really divulge a lot about future plans other than that video podcasts will now be taking place here in the basement, in our podcast studio, or my podcast studio. And
you sound like a White House press secretary when you're asked any question and you just dance around it and you answer it without saying a word. I mean, I guess we'll just have to wait for the article to come out announcing the partnership between my roommate and the handyman of Collingswood. You didn't even
say what my name was. You just referred to me as your roommate.
I don't even really know what your name is at this point. What is legally your name?
Legally Rachel.
A full name.
Marie Daly.
Yeah, I mean, I just needed you to state that because technically on this mortgage, which is funny, the mortgage is in the name of Rachel Callahan.
That is because you don't listen to me.
But
why?
If the mortgage is in a name that technically isn't yours, I don't think you have the right to book this studio out to other people. Do. And then the Rachel on the mortgage is spelled wrong as well.
Well, that's because you don't even know me. Well, you don't know how to spell my name. You don't know my last name. Do you even know anything about me?
Nope.
What's my favorite color?
I couldn't tell you. But I've proven my point is that the name on the mortgage does not match your legal name, which means you don't have the right to book the handyman of Collingswood in the studio to do their This Old House segment podcast or whatever the hell it is, their thing. All right. We'll see you in small claims court in Camden, and the South Jersey Bad Boys will be back next week once Brendan is done pumping himself full of breast milk. We'll see you guys.
Cool. Do you want to go upstairs and wrestle?
Yeah, get the margarine.